Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit more about the Luiton LT-458 UHF transceiver, which is also known as the Arcshell AR6, Arcshell AR7. This is also known as the Radioditty. Let's see here, what do they call it? Excuse me. It's this, or is the GA-2S, the Luiton SED-8, the BAOFENG BF880S Plus, BF88A, H77, the Retevis, whatever they call it. Radios, the FRS radios. Luckily, most of these that are sold in the US now have the FRS GMRS frequencies in them. Some of them don't. This pair that I bought fairly recently, March 2022, had a bunch of 435 megahertz frequencies in them from the 70 centimeter amateur band. So these radios today we're going to program in CHIRP, which is a great software program for Chinese radios such as these. You may have seen these radios. You may have heard of these radios before. This is the UV-5R. That's a UV-5R. That's a UV-5RE. That's a UV-5RA. And that's a UV-82. Now, these radios are very similar. I like the UV-5R, and I like the UV-82. The UV-82 HP, okay, whatever. I just go with the regular UV-82. My main backup radio is a regular UV-82 with the high capacity battery pack from the UV-82 HP. In reality, that extra, whatever power, it's just not going to make really much of a difference. And here's my primary amateur radio anyway. So we want to talk about these Luiton or Arcshell, BAOFENG, whatever they're sold under radios. They are similar to a lot of other radios that are on the market. If you'll notice, it's got the USB power charging connection here, which is kind of cool. It's got the standard Kenwood or K1 connection. So for that, we will be using that connection to program these radios with the FRS channels for legal operation. You do not want to use these out of the box if they're not programmed on the FRS or GMRS frequencies out of the box, which some of them are, but some of them are not. So just, buyer beware, caveat emptor, etc. So this is what CHIRP looks like. This is the user interface for the BAOFENG BF8888, which is what CHIRP reads this radio as, which, I have a lot of experience with the BF888 series and the BF666S and the BHD B828, which is the radio that the BF888S is based upon. So yeah, there's a lot of different radios with different names that are in fact the same radio. So this is a cable you can get on Amazon for nothing. You plug it in, turn the radio on, and then you basically would go to radio. You would go to download from radio, and then this is going to pop up, and you would say BAOFENG BF888. You could go to Arcshell, and it'll let you pull AR5, AR6. I've tried all of these, and they all work. So I just leave it at BAOFENG BF8888, and this is what your user interface looks like. You've got 16 channels. I'll kind of zoom in on here. And let's say that you want to make your radio be able to talk to another, like the RT-24, for example. which is a 16-channel UHF radio with the FRS channels. So to do that, you need to find the RT24 default frequencies, which here we are. If you are not familiar with the HF Underground wiki, it has a list of a lot of the default factory out-of-the-box frequencies. It's especially important to pay attention to the use of inverted DPL. So, you know, also going to talk about the different squelch tone modes here. For normal use, you want to use either tone squelch or TCS. For some specialized purposes, you leave it in tone or just turn it off. There's really no harm in leaving it in tone and just operating like that. You'll notice that if you were to just change modes here, it should, there it is, change it so it matches on the column there. So let's say I wanted to run a tone squelch on channel 11. You just pick your tone and go with it. And I would, again, if I'm trying to make this interoperate with other radios that I already have, it needs to match the tone or the DTS, what CHIRP calls the DTCS, and what the UV-5R radios call DCS, or in the case of CTCSS, CTCS. So let's say that we're using 67.0. If you want to do a full tone squelch, the T and the C and the R need to match, which you can do that in the programming software, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like on these particular radios. So if I go to here, I'll do that on another one. Another thing you want to do is you want to leave it in narrow, or you want to set it to narrow, which is NFM. And we will get a little bit deeper into that in part 2. So I will see you all in a moment.